got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Xenophobia's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Xenophobia's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Xenophobia's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Stop Asian hate. 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 Thank you very much, everyone.
Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Well, thank you. Thank you, Queen, for showing up. It's Queens in the house. A little bit of Brooklyn, too. Thank you, Senator. Today I want to thank you all for joining us at this very important day. It's a very important day for our borough, especially as we begin Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I especially want to thank Flushing Town Hall for hosting us today. Let's give it up for Flushing Town Hall. I really want to thank our special guests. We have so many elected officials, but those who co-hosted this event with us, Congresswoman Grace Ming, and our Attorney General Tish James. And I want to thank them for being valuable partners in leading voices against hate in our borough, across New York City and beyond. Today, we send a strong message from the world's borough that we will not be bystanders to hate. We need everyone in Queens to know this, whether you are in the API or Black or Latinx community, LGBTQ or Jewish communities, or any other community in which you belong, that an attack on you is an attack on each and every one of us. Yeah! For the past year, we've witnessed a second Asian community. As Dr. King so eloquently put it in 1963, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Therefore, we will not be complicit or sit on the sidelines as our neighbors face injustice.
No hate, no fear. We are here together, here in Flushing, to stand together as one, because today all of us are members of the Asian community, each and every one of us. And the continued rise in attacks and violence against Asian American community is despicable. And it's an affront to all of our values and all that we believe in. And just last week, an Asian man was brutally attacked in Harlem. And he's currently in the hospital fighting for his life. We're all praying for Yo Pan Ma and keeping the entire Ma family in our thoughts and in our prayers. But we all know that his attack is not the only attack. It's not an isolated incident. And what's disturbing is that there has been an increase in these hate crimes across this country on the values of diversity and inclusion and acceptance and love, and that all of us are part of one human family. We celebrate our differences, but we treasure our unique traditions. And we all stand together. We will do everything in our power to protect our communities and protect the Asian community. And my office has worked tirelessly with law enforcement all throughout the state of New York to stop this Asian hate. And my message is clear, that anyone who engages in hate against the Asian community or any other community, we will use the full force of the law against you.
Next, we'll hear from Reverend Al Sharpton, the president and founder of the National Action Network.
Thank you. Let me say that I'm honored to stand with these officials and our borough president to denounce Asian hate. When these uptick of hate crimes started earlier this year, John Liu came to our headquarters in Harlem, and we stood together and said we must stop the profiling of Asian Americans. But when we saw an attack in Harlem against an Asian American, we don't need to send a message, we need to come and bring the message. When blacks attack Asians, black leaders need to stand up. When whites attack others, whites need to stand up. I come to tell you that we are not going to stand by and allow hate between one another. You can't fight hate against one without fighting hate against all.
Thank you. I'm taking off my mask. Mazie Hirono, our great senator from Hawaii, who along with Grace Mountain sponsored our anti-Asian hate legislation, which is now law. Gave me this mask, and I said I'm going to wear it and wear it and wear it until we pass the law and until we wipe out Asian hate everywhere in America. Now we in New York City are a city of love. We are a city of diversity. We are a city of immigrants. We are a city of unity. And we want to tell those evil few who propagate that Asian hate that you are not New Yorkers, you are not Americans, and under the new law we passed, we will prosecute you and give you the punishment you deserve. To our Asian American friends, this legislation shows that we stand with you. That hate against one is hate against all. And Grace Ming is carrying that same legislation proudly in the House, and it will pass next week and be signed into law. This is un-American. We love our Asian community. We love our immigrants. We love our diversity. We love that we have people from so many different countries in New York and Queens, and we are all together. When someone perpetuates this nasty, bigoted, vicious hate, they are taking a dagger and stabbing it into the heart of New York and the heart of America. States, e pluribus unum, we will never rest until that motto is fulfilled in every corner of this country. Thank you for being here, and let us stop Asian hate. 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 We will not rest till we beat it in every place in this country. Thank you. God bless you.
Next, we'll hear from Mayor.
Those who hate do not belong in New York City. Those who hate do not understand New York City. New York City is made up of all of us. Look around. This is a rainbow. This is everybody that makes this city great. We celebrate this month Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders who make this city great. If you love New York City, you can't take the contributions of the Asian American community out of it, because the only way we are New York City today is because of what all Asian Americans have done for us. So anyone who hates Asian Americans hates New York City too, hates America too, won't be accepted in New York City. If you hate, get the hell out of here, because you don't belong in New York City. And we will stand together, and I want to thank Donovan Richards and all these leaders. This is how you fight hate, everyone together. But the other way you fight hate is with consequences. So anyone who commits a hate crime, let's be blunt, let's be clear, we will find you. We will prosecute you. You will suffer the consequences. If you harm our Asian brothers and sisters, you will pay, period. Thank you, and God bless you all.
And Borough President Donovan Richards, who I saw at a vaccination site in Corona just 2 days ago. He said, "You will be there, right?" And I said, "Yes, I would not miss this." So to our Borough President, I want to thank him. To our amazing Attorney General, Tish James, thank you for putting the weight of your office behind this effort and saying we will not tolerate this. So thank you, Tish James. And also, my friend from Congress, Grace May, who went off and went with such compassion and heart after she spoke on national television and said, "I want this to end so my kids can grow up in a world where they don't have to be afraid." And that's what we're fighting here for. Our kids should not be afraid. And our mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers should not be afraid. Because this is America. This is New York. This is Queens, and we're standing up for each other. And I have come here so many times with my beautiful teenage nieces who were born in China. We've watched and marched the parades. I want them to appreciate the beautiful culture they've been born into. But they are Chinese Americans, and I don't want them to grow up in a world full of fear. So ladies and gentlemen, it stops right here, right now. We have to stop it. Because in the famous words of the immortal Fannie Lou Kramer, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't want to read another story about someone hurt on the subway or walking down the street and being spit upon or touched. No one has the right to touch or verbally assault anyone else, ever. And so, New Yorkers, yes, we have the great political leadership right here. Amazing to see Chuck Schumer, our senator, who shows up at everything, even though he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. And thank you for being here, majority leader, and all of our elected leaders. But we can't do it alone, folks. So here's what I'm going to do. You heard our borough president talk about we're no longer going to be bystanders. Well, I'm going to do one better than that. Not only will we not be bystanders, we will be upstanders. We will stand up for people. So if you happen to see something going on before your very eyes and you know it's not right, you stand up for each other, otherwise you're complicit. Stand up, call it out, take that photo, send it to the police, stand up for each other, because that's what a loving and compassionate society built on kindness has to do. We have to protect each other. And thank God that we have such a great community who will do just that. So that's what I'm calling you on, starting today, right here and now. And thank you for allowing me to be here, representing 20 million New Yorkers who stand with this cause to stamp out hate against Asians.
Society.
Good afternoon and namaste to all of you. On behalf of the Hindu Temple Society of North America, it's my greatest pleasure and honor to be among all of you. We are also Asians. We come from the same district. We're all in this together. You're no different from us and we're no different from you. An attack on you is an attack on us. When all these things happened, we offered our special prayers at our temple so that these things should stop and all of you should be safe and sound. And I'm proud to say we are extremely happy in this county of Flushing, beautiful borough of Flushing, which...
Thank you, Mr. Borough President, Madam Attorney General, all of the great leaders here. My daughters were asking me, where are you going this morning? And I said, I'm going to stand with my brothers and my sisters. So that the world can see that we will not be silent in the United States of America, especially in the city and the borough, that stands for unity among all of us, that brings us together, and that means you and I will stand against hate right here. We must stop this Asian hate and stop it now. Dr. King said, our enemies, those that commit this hate, this crime, they won't remember, we won't remember who they are. We will remember our friends who do not stand up and speak out. And so that's why I'm proud today we make sure that those who will come and knock on somebody simply because of how they look, or how they speak, or where they live, or where they come from, we will not stop until we eradicate all of those haters and all of those violators of human rights and human dignity, and that is the way we can lead the rest of this world to make this place that we call the earth a better place for each and every one of us. Stop Asia's hate and violence, and stop it right now.
Now on to Joanne Yu.
Hi everyone, my name is Joanne Yu and I'm the Executive Director of the Asian American Federation. As we start the celebration of Asian American Heritage Month, I thank the Queensborough President for inviting us to be here to share this important rally and march, and for giving us a chance to speak what is happening in our community. For over a long year, our community has been enduring unbelievable pain, sadness, and fear. In moments like this, when we are standing together as friends, we see hope and we see community. The Queensborough President has been a friend and ally to our community for a very long time. As a council member, he has worked tirelessly to address the challenges in our community, especially for vulnerable New Yorkers, in front and behind the scenes. Now, as the Queensborough President, he is leading the way to ensure that Asians in not just Queens, but our entire city is supported during this very scary time. And time again, he has been using his voice to stand with our community. I also am proud to stand here with our champion, Congresswoman Meng, our standard bearer. Everybody give her a round of applause. She has worked.
Attorney General Tish James, Congresswoman Grace Meng, for convening all of us. It's a privilege to be here with all of our great elected officials, and even a greater privilege to be here with all of you. If we are going to stop Asian hate, if we are going to stop these terrible incidents of assaults, verbal and physical, it has to be everyday New Yorkers taking back our streets and taking back our neighborhoods, and that's what you are doing here in Flushing, Queens, New York today. You are sending a powerful message that the haters are not New York, the haters are not America. This is New York, this is America. I am proud to stand with all of you in saying we must stop anti-Asian hate today, tomorrow, stamp it out. Let's get those numbers going down, not up, right, Tish James, that we have to report on? And this gathering today will be a turning point. Thank you again, Borough President, for hosting us. Look forward to marching with all of you into better days. Thank you.
My thanks to Borough President Richards, to Attorney General James, to Congresswoman Meng for convening us here today. I stand before you, I stand with the Consul General of the State of Israel as well, to say that not only today, but every day we stand with our sisters and brothers in the Asian community, and we will do everything that we can to stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! I identify with all the condemnations that have already been said, with all this horrible hate which is plaguing our country, our city, this beautiful borough, and in particular the violence against our brothers and sisters in the Asian American community. We of the Jewish faith are no strangers, as you all know, to acts of bigotry. Just this past week, 4 synagogues in Riverdale were violently vandalized. Hate is boundless. It's an equal opportunity virus. I see a sign that says that hate is a virus. Yes, it is a virus. It's a disease whose ravages are unlimited, not distinguishing between one group and another. The late Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel once said, someone who hates one group will end up hating everyone. Fanatics who hate don't only hate me, they also hate you. They hate everybody. We, the targeted, cannot be paralyzed by fear. We, the targeted, cannot be intimidated by bullies. We, the targeted, cannot be terrorized by threats. We cannot afford to be indifferent. We cannot afford to be silent. Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Our voices must be heard. They must be raised multiple decibels, not as individuals, but as a collective, all of us together. We need a chorus of voices. We need an alliance of peoples of all complexions, of all races, the dark skin and the light skin, the immigrants and the multi-generational residents, the Christians, the Jews, the Hindus, the Sikhs, the Muslims, people of all faiths, young and the old, in unison, standing side by side. We need to be better engaged with one another, support each other, to share each other's pain, and to mobilize to do what? To stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate.
Stop Asian hate. It's good to be in Queens to stand with my friend and my colleague Grace Meng and our Attorney General Tish James, our great Borough President Donovan Richards, and each and every one of you to make it clear that we're going to demand that we stop Asian hate, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. We're going to stop Asian hate today. And that's why we are here as members of Congress, city council members, state legislators, statewide elected officials, the borough president, citywide elected officials, community leaders, religious leaders, civic leaders, to join our Asian American brothers and sisters to say, we are you, you are us, and together we're in this fight until we end this fight and we end Asian American hatred. Now, the scripture says in the Psalm of David, for the Lord loves justice and will not abandon his faithful ones. And so we're going to remain faithful to the principle of liberty and justice for all. Faithful to the principle of equal protection under the law. Faithful to the principle that we are all God's children. And faithful to the principle that our diversity is a strength, it is not a weakness. And the Asian American community, a hard-working community, an immigrant community, an entrepreneurial community, a community-centered group of individuals, family-oriented, who have done so much for this borough, this city, and this country. We will not abandon you in your time of need.
Good afternoon. I'm the Executive Director of NCAPIA, the National Queer API Alliance. I am so honored to be here with all of you. This is my community as well. I thank President Richards, Attorney General Tish James, everyone who's here to stand with us. 5 years ago, when I was in Queens doing this kind of work, anti-Asian hate meant Muslims being attacked on their way to mosques. I was writing press releases about that. I was speaking at rallies. 4 years ago, it was a Muslim ban. A year ago, it was a targeting of Chinatowns. This year, thankfully, people are paying attention to what has been happening to Asian Americans across the country. But we know this is not a moment. This has been happening for decades, for centuries. And for us at NCAPIA, it is all of those things, but it's also across the country, people not having the right to employment, to the anti-trans bills that are around the country rising to challenge the rights of children in our schools.
Next we'll hear from State Senator John Liu.
Thank you. That was Lou, not Boo. I'm so happy to join Donovan Richards. So happy to join Grace Meng. All the fantastic speakers we have here heard already. What they're saying is much more important than what I can say as an Asian American. It's the solidarity that they have shown us. And I have to say, this has got to be one of the biggest gatherings I've seen here in Flushing. Such an important gathering, such an important issue that we must fight. Adhikar is in the house. The Garden of Hope is in the house. Taiwan Center is in the house. Shandong Tongshanhui, Wenzhou Tongshanhui, Henan Tongshanhui, Beijing Tongshanhui. That's all I can see. But so good to see everybody here because we're making a very strong statement. Our statement is that we are people. You see the senseless killings. You see the violent attacks. It's almost as if we're not human, we're not people. How can people beat a fellow human being so viciously and then leave them bleeding on the ground? No one helping. People closing the door on these victims. It's just so despicable, so shameful, and so hurtful down deep. We're here to say we're not subhuman. We're not dogs. We're not virus. We are not coronavirus. We are people. We are humans. We are sons and daughters. We are mothers and fathers. We are aunts and uncles. We are Americans. We are New Yorkers. And we must have the same equal protection under the law and equal treatment by government. That's why it's so important that we have officials from every level of government here, starting with our hero, Congressmember Grace Meng, who passed federal legislation in this country, because this is a nationwide problem, to empower the Justice Department and the federal department to really understand what hate crimes are about and push rules all across the country so that we can hold those accountable for these hate crimes accountable under the law. We'll also have to do more. It's not just about hate crimes and prosecution and police. It is also about education, because we can prosecute all the people that we want, and we can stop hate crimes from their fear. But we need to stop hate crimes out of people's love. That is the long-term solution. Hate, bigotry, and discrimination is a result of ignorance. It's a result of not understanding. It's a result of not seeing us as human beings. In order to counter that, we need to teach people about what we have done in this country. Flushing would not be today what it is if not for Asian American blood, sweat, and tears. New York would not be what it is today if not for Asian Americans. America would not be today what it is if not for Asian Americans. Everybody needs to understand that, not just Asian Americans, but everybody needs to understand what Asian Americans have done. Mic off of me, but I'm not gonna stop speaking. We need action from law enforcement to education, and we need everybody standing out here every single time there's a crime, there's an attack, there's an incident of bias. Only then can we stop Asian hate for the long term. Thank you so much.
Next one.
Good afternoon, friends. I haven't seen this many Asian Americans standing up and speaking out ever. What a wonderful sight. And we have allies and friends. I know that some, to be honest, may have wondered who would join us on this occasion. Let there be no doubt. Our friends, the borough president, Donovan Richards, so many other high-ranking officials who came because they know this cause is their cause. Let there be no doubt that we stand for ideals and principles that have beckoned the world over for generations, that inspired you to make that perilous journey to these shores to pursue freedom and opportunity. Although the issues are not new, the awareness is. And it is welcome to have these allies. Please, friends, give a big round of applause to everyone who is not Asian American who has joined us here. And let us remember what the Reverend Al Sharpton said, that he journeyed to be here with us because he stands with us. And when the Black Lives Matter protests go by our homes, let us emerge and join, as we did last summer. It is so important for us now, in turn, to be good allies.
Hello everyone, I'm Councilmember Peter Gu from here, Western New York. Please allow me to say something in Chinese because many of our audience here, they don't understand one word of English. You know, even though they are patriot Americans. 大家好，안녕하세요。我是纽约市议员顾亚明。今天我非常高兴看到那么多同胞来这里参加今天的这个反亚裔仇恨的活动。刚才很多人都说话了，他们都说得非常好，我的演讲当然没有他们好。但是我们市长也说过了，我们Attorney General也说过了。最后的结果是什么？反仇恨的时候，我们要惩罚这些人。什么说法都是没有用的。你抓到这个人，明天放出来有什么用？对不对？他们从来没有谈这个事情，所以我们要最大一个事情是，我们要 reform criminal justice system。我们司法制度要更改。
32 BJ, Carl Bragg, Labor's in the house.
Thank you. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I want to first thank my 32BJ brothers and sisters for being out here joining me, and all of us today standing with the Asian community. As president of 32BJ, we stand here representing 175,000 essential workers, majority people of color, and immigrants from all walks of life, speaking over 36 different languages. Our diversity is our pillar, and it's what makes us stronger. We are proud to have been on the front lines of the fight against racism and injustice since our very inception. And today is no different. Generation after generation, the API community, like the black, the brown, and other communities of color, have been the target of racism, xenophobia, and violence. For over a year, the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities have been particularly hit hard by heinous onslaught of increased racial hate for no reason other than their ethnicity. These intolerable acts of racism and xenophobia continue to divide us and to be the difference between life and death for our brothers and sisters. We must rise to put an end to it, and put an end to it now. We must unanimously and unequivocally reject injustice, and together we must rise against and reject hate. We stand together in unity
with our API brothers and sisters, and remind ourselves once again that everyone, regardless of their ethnicity, of the color of their skin, of their religious beliefs, of who they love, that they belong in our cities, they belong in our state, they belong in our country, and we stand against racism, we stand against Asian hate, we stand together. We have a motto in SEIU, stronger together. And we stand here today with you brothers and sisters because we know that together, in our strength, we will kill hate. We will kill hate together. Thank you, God bless you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you feeling? Let us be very clear. We are here today to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in the Asian community. We are here to remind each other that none of us is safe and free if we cannot stand together to be safe and free. We must, each and every one of us, remember that these last 14 months, the Asian community has also experienced the economic hardship of the pandemic, that the Asian community has also experienced the violence and the hate and been scapegoated throughout this pandemic, and that is not okay. You are not our scapegoat. You make this city good. You make this city better. You contribute to this city in ways that are incredible. And I want to thank the Borough President of Queens, Richard Donovan, for bringing us together, the Attorney General, Tish James, for bringing us together, our champion, Congresswoman Meng, for bringing us together here today. But we all have a responsibility to stand up, to use tools to be upstanders. Commissioner of Immigrant Affairs, to remind all of us that the nearly 40% of our population that is foreign-born, the nearly 60% of our families, daughters, sons, grandparents, loved ones, none of us, black, brown, Asian, Muslim, none of us are safe if you are not safe. We value you. We need to treat you with dignity and with love. And we are here today to support you and not spread fear, to remind you that you have rights. You have the right to be free of discrimination in your workplace, in your home, and on the streets. You have the right to exercise your voice in reporting that, but also to remind your neighbors and co-workers and loved ones to stand with you, because it's not fair for you to stand alone. So I want to thank you. Thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for what you have done these last 14 months to show up, to be upstanders for your loved ones and your neighbors, to show up and remind us that this city, this country is only good and will only be great because of our Asian brothers and sisters. Thank you for all that you do and all that you are. We love you, and now let's say it together. Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I just want to thank Queensborough President Richards here for holding this together. And also it's a privilege for me to serve on your immigrant task force as well. And for everybody else that came out today, including our elected officials, and especially the residents of New York City, and especially Flushing, Queens. My name is Mitchell Wu. I'm the director of our Queen Services at the Chinese American Planning Council. We are the nation's largest Asian-serving social service nonprofit. We started in 1965 in response to the civil rights movement and the growing immigration changes for the Asian American community. Right now, we serve over 60,000 New Yorkers per year, ranging from services everywhere from early childhood to senior services to economic and family empowerment. Right here in Flushing, We have a 10-story multi-service building right here in Flushing, Queens, where we serve Wall Street as well, which is a small business, Asian small business. Used to be sites of the Underground Railroad, right? So there is so much history here and so much strength that we have in our diversity.
This country knows there's a new majority coming. That's what's happening. They can beat us. They can hang us. They can stop us. They can spit on us. But we belong here and we ain't going nowhere. Do you have a whistle? Don't just blow it when you're in trouble. Blow it to let them know. I'm here and Asian lives matter. Damn it. So let me tell you something. This is gonna be long and it's gonna be hard. But you keep on walking, you keep on talking, and you keep on marching. Because your family, your cousins, blacks will be with you. And so let them know we will not be separated. We will not be pitted against each other. Grace can tell you, I've been with this girl for years. Before Congress, before the state assembly. So guess what? I've been blazing for a long time. All right, brothers and sisters, this is just the beginning, but let me tell you, somebody mess with you, you call Bertha May.
We're now going to hear from Frankie Miranda, the President and CEO of the Hispanic Federation.
Every day. As many of you know, there has been a dramatic increase in attacks and discrimination towards our Asian community. According to NBC News, anti-Asian crimes have increased by nearly 150% in many major cities.
From Chinatown to Harlem, from Main Street to Jamaica Avenue, we will continue to denounce hate in any shape,
to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Xenophobia's got 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 to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Xen hate, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate! 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 Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Xenophobia's got to go! 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 Guys, I'm hate! No more hate! No more hate! No more hate! No more hate! You guys are hate! You guys are hate! You guys are hate! No more 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 hate! Asian American boy was playing basketball. Some of his peers who unfortunately had to unlearn hate that they learned, took the ball from him and started calling him a bunch of different anti-Asian slurs, told him that he does not belong here, but we all stand together because we know we are all one, and whether you're black or Latinx or LGBTQI or Jewish or Muslim or Asian, that we all belong here. We 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 belong here.
Thank you, Frank. I want to speak to the children in the playground. I want you to know, if you hear us, that you belong here. That we will never tolerate anybody making you feel like you don't belong here in Queens County. This is your home. Let me say that again. This is your home. This is our home. This is our home. This is our home. This is our home. We belong here. We belong here. Asians 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 belong here. We all 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 belong here. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. No more hate! 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 Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian
loved her, to the point where she was bleeding. She had to go to the hospital, and she had to get 10 stitches. She didn't even realize what happened, and her family had to be there and speak on her behalf. So we stand because we see that even going to the store, even doing a daily chore and a daily duty, our sisters and brothers of the Asian and Pacific Islander communities cannot do so in peace. And many of us who belong to various marginalized communities understand that same thing, that an everyday task, you can be doing an everyday task and someone can try to attack you just because of who you are or how you identify, or because of a disagreement, their internal hate will come out. We stand against violence, we stand against hate, and we know that love will always win and will always come out on top. So at this moment, I don't know if any of our, if our Queensboro president or our representative Meg, any of our officials would like to say some words. I know this is so near and dear and personal to so many folks.
Artillery. Let's meet a Democrat. I know that. Let's go. Let's get there for the corner.